Most people don't realize Mario Kart almost didn't use Mario characters at all. The developers initially considered generic racers until they realized one crucial advantage familiar faces provided. This single decision changed gaming history. The original Mario Kart team faced technical limitations that seemed impossible at first. Their plan to create a two-player F-Zero hit a wall when the SNES couldn't render separate viewpoints for large tracks. This forced tracks into a tiny 1024 by 1024 pixel area, like squeezing a race course into a model town. The cramped space sparked their first breakthrough, switching to go-karts, which made perfect sense on these miniature circuits. During early tests, developers noticed players struggled to identify generic racers on the tight tracks. An amusement park visit proved pivotal when they saw how real drivers' distinctive appearances solved this problem instantly. "We were stuck until we watched actual go-kart drivers," one developer recalled. "That aha moment showed us we needed characters you'd recognize from just their silhouette." The Mario cast became the obvious solution, giving the game instant personality and solving the visibility issue. The tiny tracks also birthed Mario Kart's signature drifting mechanic. With courses twisting back on themselves, the team created a system where players could slide around corners without braking, turning a limitation into a thrilling skill. Early prototypes used other characters before landing on the Mario roster, a choice that defined the game's charm. Mode 7 graphics created a pseudo 3D effect that felt revolutionary, while items like green shells tied perfectly to the Mario universe. What began as compromises became defining features. The small tracks made races more intense, recognizable characters deepened the connection, and technical constraints forced creative solutions. The team's initial doubts faded as each problem led to innovation. "We worried the limitations would cripple the game," admitted a developer, "but they pushed us to create something better than we imagined." Super Mario Kart sold nearly 9 million copies, becoming the SNES's fourth bestseller and proving how constraints could fuel creativity. These solutions didn't just work. They created a blueprint that would guide every future Mario Kart. When Mario Kart 64 launched, its 4-player mode used visual tricks most players never noticed. The Nintendo 64's hardware presented new 3D capabilities but severe limitations in processing power. The development team, led by director Hideki Kano, struggled to maintain smooth gameplay while rendering 4 separate viewpoints simultaneously. The console simply couldn't handle drawing full 3D models for every character in split-screen mode. The solution came through billboarding technology. Rather than rendering complete 3D characters for each player, the team created 2D sprites captured from multiple angles. These flat images rotated to always face the camera, creating the illusion of 3D models. This technique reduced the processing load significantly while preserving the visual quality during races. Without this workaround, 4-player mode wouldn't have been possible on the N64 hardware. Track design underwent major changes for the 3D transition. The flat, tilted courses from Super Mario Kart gave way to fully three-dimensional environments with hills, jumps, and valleys. The physics calculations became much more complex as karts now interacted with terrain in multiple dimensions. The team refused to compromise on course designs despite these challenges, resulting in tracks that showed off the N64's capabilities while maintaining the series' signature tight controls. New items joined the lineup to take advantage of 3D space. The spiny shell became perhaps the most famous addition, homing in on the race leader through full 3D environments. Other items like the fake item box worked better with the new perspective, tricking players in ways that wouldn't have functioned in 2D. These additions created more dynamic races while still feeling balanced. Analog controls fundamentally changed how the game handled. The N64 controller's analog stick allowed for precise steering inputs not possible with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System's digital pad. This gave players finer control over their karts, affecting how drifting and acceleration worked. The development team adjusted the physics to take advantage of these new input possibilities, making races feel more tactile. Multiplayer became the game's biggest selling point. While Super Mario Kart offered 2-player races, 4 competitors could now race simultaneously on Mario Kart 64. This transformed the social experience, making it a centerpiece of parties and gatherings. Track layouts became more exaggerated to accommodate the new perspective. Courses like Rainbow Road used dramatic loops and steep drops that wouldn't have worked in 2D. These designs helped players judge distances and spatial relationships more easily in the new 3D environment. The exaggerated features also made tracks more visually memorable while serving practical gameplay purposes. Despite all these changes, the team kept the core mechanics intact. The weight of vehicles, the feel of drifting, and the balance between luck and skill remained similar to the SNES original. This consistency ensured fans recognized the experience while appreciating the new elements. The development process showed how constraints could spark creative solutions that enhanced rather than limited the game. Mario Kart 64 sold nearly 10 million copies, becoming the second best-selling N64 game. Its success proved the series could thrive in 3D, while keeping its essential qualities. The solutions developed for this installment would influence every subsequent Mario Kart game, establishing patterns that continue today. The transition from 2D to 3D demonstrated Nintendo's ability to evolve a formula while retaining what made it special originally. Handheld consoles would present the next set of challenges for the series to overcome. Mario Kart Super Circuit brought the racing action to the Game Boy Advance in 2001. Becoming the first handheld entry in the series. Despite the GBA's limited screen size, the developers managed to preserve the feel of Mario Kart through clever use of the system's sprite capabilities. Super Circuit combined elements from both its predecessors, sprite-based characters reminiscent of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System with course designs inspired by the Nintendo 64 installment. The game introduced a significant innovation that would become a series staple: retro tracks. Players could unlock 20 courses from the original Super Mario Kart, effectively doubling the game's content. This nostalgic feature connected new players with the series' roots, while giving veterans fresh versions of classic tracks. Super Circuit also pioneered wireless multiplayer for the franchise, allowing up to 4 players to race together, using the GBA's link cable, with only one game cartridge necessary in limited mode. Despite technical constraints, Super Circuit sold over 5.9 million copies, proving Mario Kart could succeed beyond home consoles. Mario Kart Double Dash took the series in a bold new direction when it launched for the GameCube in 2003. The game's defining innovation was its 2-character mechanic, allowing players to select a pair of racers who could switch positions between driver and item thrower at any time. This added a strategic layer to multiplayer races, especially since each character pair had unique special items like Bowser's giant shell or Yoshi and Birdo's eggs. Double Dash expanded the roster significantly, adding new faces like Diddy Kong, Waluigi, and Baby Luigi. The game also introduced weight classes that affected vehicle handling, with heavyweight pairs moving slower but capable of knocking lighter carts aside. This system added depth to character selection beyond mere aesthetics. Despite being one of the more divisive entries due to its experimental nature, Double Dash sold 3.8 million copies and became the GameCube's second best-selling game. Many of its innovations, like special items and dual character carts, haven't returned in subsequent games, giving it a unique place in the series' history. Mario Kart DS's online mode launched in 2005 with significant limitations that disappointed the development team. The Nintendo DS hardware could only support 4-player online races, and features like leaderboards and ghost data sharing were cut due to technical constraints. Producer Hideki Kano acknowledged these compromises, calling them necessary sacrifices to make online play function on the handheld. Despite these limitations, Mario Kart DS became the first Nintendo game with online multiplayer functionality. Players connected through the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection service, which required simpler matchmaking than modern systems. The DS version also introduced 2 major features that would become series staples. Mission Mode offered single-player challenges beyond traditional racing, with tasks like collecting coins or completing tracks in reverse. More importantly, Retro Grand Prix formalized the concept of bringing back classic tracks from previous games, with 4 full cups of remastered courses from earlier titles. Mario Kart DS also added new characters, including Dry Bones and ROB, Robotic Operating Buddy, the first non-Mario character to appear in the series. The dual-screen format allowed players to view their position on the track via the bottom screen while racing on the top screen. These innovations helped the game sell 23.6 million copies worldwide. The Wii version took accessibility to new heights in 2008 by introducing motion controls. The bundled Wii wheel peripheral transformed the game for casual players. Instead of traditional button inputs, players could steer by physically turning the wheel controller. This intuitive control scheme helped Mario Kart Wii sell over 37 million copies, making it the best-selling entry in the series. The team also refined the online features that were lacking in the DS version, adding proper friend codes and improved matchmaking. The Wii's motion controls and expanded online functionality brought in millions of new players who hadn't engaged with previous Mario Kart games. Mario Kart Wii expanded the racing field to 12 players simultaneously, creating more chaotic and unpredictable races. It also introduced motorcycles as an alternative to karts, with their own unique drifting mechanics. The motorcycles' wheelie ability gave them higher top speeds on straightaways at the cost of turning ability. The game featured a more diverse selection of tracks, from the tight corners of Coconut Mall to the massive jumps of Grumble Volcano. This variety, combined with the largest roster of racers yet, ensured there was something for every type of player. The Wii version also perfected the trick system, allowing players to perform mid-air stunts for speed boosts upon landing. Mario Kart 7 for the Nintendo 3DS, 2011, revolutionized course design with the introduction of gliding and underwater sections. For the first time, karts could transform mid-race, deploying hang gliders to soar through the air, or propellers for underwater navigation. These new pathways created branching routes and strategic choices throughout each race. The game also pioneered the kart customization system, allowing players to mix and match bodies, wheels, and gliders to create vehicles with different speed, acceleration, and handling characteristics. This added a layer of strategy beyond character selection, as players could build karts to complement their racing style. Mario Kart 7 introduced gyroscopic controls as an option, allowing players to steer by physically tilting the 3DS system. The game also featured online communities, letting players create custom rule sets and race with friends under specific conditions. These innovations helped the game sell over 18.9 million copies worldwide, despite the 3DS having a smaller install base than the Wii. Anti-gravity racing debuted in Mario Kart 8 as a solution to course design limitations. The development team considered more radical ideas early in development, including karts that could drill underground. They settled on anti-gravity because it allowed karts to drive on walls and ceilings without changing the core handling. This innovation created visually striking tracks like Mount Wario's downhill sprint, where racers transition between multiple surfaces. The anti-gravity mechanic also influenced item balance, since shells and bananas now needed to function properly on vertical surfaces. These technological improvements helped Mario Kart 8 become the best-selling Wii U game, despite the console's struggles. The anti-gravity sections introduced a new spin boost mechanic, where bumping into other racers or special obstacles while in anti-gravity mode would give both drivers a speed boost instead of slowing them down. This transformed collisions from penalties into strategic opportunities, encouraging closer racing in these sections. Mario Kart 8's HD visuals represented a dramatic leap forward for the series, with beautifully detailed environments and character models. The game's orchestrated soundtrack also set a new standard, with dynamic music that changed instrumentation based on the final lap or underwater sections. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe continued evolving the formula when it launched on Switch in 2017. The game introduced smart steering and auto-accelerate options to help younger players compete. The Booster Course Pass DLC expanded the content significantly by adding 48 remastered tracks from throughout the series. Many came from Mario Kart Tour, but the developers redesigned them to better suit console gameplay. This approach let Nintendo support the game years after release, while introducing classic courses to new players. The continuous updates demonstrate how the series maintains relevance by adapting to modern gaming trends. The Switch version also restored a proper battle mode, addressing one of the few criticisms of the original Wii U release. New arenas and battle types like Renegade Roundup brought fresh energy to this side mode. The portability of the Switch perfectly complemented Mario Kart's pick-up-and-play style, allowing for impromptu multiplayer sessions anywhere. The combination of quality and convenience helped Mario Kart 8 Deluxe become the best-selling Switch game and the best-selling racing game of all time, with over 51 million copies sold as of 2024. Its unprecedented success demonstrated how the right balance of innovation and refinement could extend a game's lifespan far beyond traditional expectations. Mario Kart Tour 2019 brought the series to smartphones with a focus on simplified touch controls and free-to-play mechanics. The mobile game introduced city-based courses inspired by real-world locations like New York, Tokyo, and Paris, a first for the series. It also featured a rotating selection of courses and a gacha-style system for unlocking drivers, karts, and gliders. While controversial for its monetization approach, Tour introduced several innovations that influenced the broader series, including driver-specific preferred courses and special items for each character. The game has been downloaded over 200 million times, reaching a broader audience than any previous Mario Kart title. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit 2020 merged physical and digital racing through augmented reality. Players controlled physical RC karts with cameras that transmitted video to the Switch, which overlaid virtual elements on the real-world course. The physical kart would respond to in-game events, slowing down when hit by shells or speeding up with mushroom boosts. This innovative approach allowed players to create custom courses in their homes using cardboard gates, with the game adding virtual obstacles and environments. While limited by physical space requirements, Home Circuit demonstrated Nintendo's willingness to explore unconventional gaming experiences. Each hardware limitation has pushed the series in unexpected directions. The DS version proved online multiplayer could work on Nintendo handhelds. The Wii iteration showed how motion controls could expand the audience. The Switch version demonstrated the value of long-term support through DLC. These adaptations have kept Mario Kart relevant across multiple console generations while maintaining its core racing mechanics. The series continues finding ways to innovate within its established framework, whether through new control schemes or course design innovations. The online functionality has evolved considerably since the DS days. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe supports 12-player online races with proper matchmaking and worldwide leaderboards. Voice chat functionality arrived through the Nintendo Switch Online app, though with limitations compared to other platforms. These improvements show Nintendo learning from past limitations while keeping the focus on accessible, fun gameplay. Looking ahead, the upcoming Mario Kart World for Nintendo Switch 2 represents the most ambitious evolution yet. It transforms the series into an interconnected open world where players drive seamlessly between races without loading screens. Mario Kart World introduces several groundbreaking mechanics, including rail grinding, charge jumps for clearing obstacles, and a knockout race format where players are eliminated if they don't reach checkpoints in time. The player count has been expanded to 24 racers simultaneously, doubling the chaos of previous entries. The game also features a free roam mode that lets players explore the world at their leisure, discovering secrets and taking photos at scenic locations. New items like the Ice Flower and Hammer join returning favorites, while the expanded roster includes surprising additions like playable Goombas and Moo Moo Cows. The Mario Kart series shows how constraints drive innovation. Each technical limitation, from SNES hardware to online multiplayer, sparked creative solutions that grew the game's appeal, leading to over 178 million copies sold as the top racing franchise. The upcoming Mario Kart World continues this evolution, with interconnected courses and rail grinding mechanics. Beyond gaming, Universal Studios' Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge blends augmented reality with physical rides, proving its cultural reach. Mario Kart turns limitations into breakthroughs. Its legacy reminds us that creativity thrives under constraints, a lesson that resonates far beyond the track.